right, welcome in hockey fans in the Desert Southwest. It's another Hockey Talk in the Desert Southwest. It's still, 110 degrees outside. The monsoon storms are kicking in. We're still talking ice cold hockey here at College Bar and Grill in Tempe. Three-time returning co-host Andrew Bell is with me. Andrew, thanks again for jumping in on us today.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's got to be some sort of record or something like that in the Ice Time Hockey Southwest rankings. But thank you for having me again.
That mugshot's going up on the wall on the good spot,
the
Hall of Fame
behind
wall.
us here next to Sparky, so yeah, something like that.
All right, so it's a big day, right? Let's talk about our guest first. We're bringing in Austin Palumbo, from a senior this year at ASU, ACHA program, but also double dipping as a fundraising coordinator, president of the club. He's doing a little bit of everything. We're going to bring him in for a couple of segments, talk ACHA hockey. Then we're going to bring in the guru, the goaltending guru from USA Hockey, and Larry Gibson coming in with us afterwards. So we've got some great guests going on tonight. But first and foremost, today was a big day because ASU had a media press conference to talk about the trip to China. I know you didn't get a chance to get down there because of your other duties. I was there. I know you've heard some stuff. Mm-hmm. Your thoughts?
Well, first of all, I just think it's a great opportunity for them to, just go to China. Not even from a hockey perspective, obviously the experience is going to be great, but just from a cultural perspective, it's a chance to see another country, expand your horizons while you're in college, and I think it's going to be a fun trip for the guys. But then on top of that, there's work to be done as well. I imagine what they hope to accomplish from this trip is to get better as a hockey team. There's a lot of, I wouldn't say question marks, but a lot of maybe spots to fill after last season's run, and I think they're going to find out a lot about their team just from their play when they're in China and overseas. So I think it'll be a pretty fun experience for the team. And it'll be interesting to see what they say when they get back, just with some of, what the trip was like. How was the food? How was everything? Along with, of course, the hockey that's going on as well. All those guys know how to play hockey, but all the other stuff kind of around it, I imagine has to be pretty exciting. So, it's going to be a fun trip. Sounds like today there's some good stuff that was going on down at Oceanside, and it's always good in the middle of a heat-drenched summer right. When baseball's going on, there's not too many sports. Go down to the hockey rink at Oceanside and just see some guys skating around. It's much more fun, in my opinion, than just the dog days of summer, so to speak.
Well, let me throw out a couple of things that I picked up from today. We had Coach Powers, we had Captain Brinson Pashnuk, and we had the Chinese-born Peter Zhang as the three people that addressed the media today, right? The first thing I got from Coach Powers was he was very impressed with what he'd seen from the guys at this point. He said they all came in really good shape. The compete level he thought was very good for the start of the season. Peter Zhang told us a little bit about what the guys could expect in China. One of the things that I caught from him right away was he said the guys are all asking him about Chinese food. He said it's not the same as American Chinese food. He said we call it real Chinese food. Then we bring in Brinson, and Brinson, confident as always, but he made some really bold statements today. He said that when he came to ASU, his goal was to get everything on that goal board in the locker room checked off before he left. There's one thing left: winning the national championship. He's confident that this team can do it. I think we all kind of looked around the room and said, Brinson, should we take your temperature? You might have a little fever. But after the press conference was over with, the guys got out for our only chance to see them on the ice before they leave. And I can tell you, for a July second practice, they were good. They were really good. So defense stood out, offense stood out, goaltending stood out. So I don't know where you go wrong. I guess right now it's just knock on wood for health, because if they do it, they're going to be in excellent shape.
Yeah, and that's one thing. I heard Brinson's comments today as well about the national championship, and people might think it's crazy, especially kind of in the national college hockey world around the country and things like that. But if there's one thing he's proven in his 3 years here, it's that he's backed up his words. That was really the discussion of this whole last season, and there's a reason he wears the C on his sweater, and is for statements like that, and he backs it up with his play. And he said that this whole last season is, a lot of people would have thought they were crazy if they were to make the NCAA tournament last year. They end up doing that and playing competitive hockey all year long against some of the best programs in the country. So if there's one thing he's proven, it's that he can back up his word. A national championship is, everybody's gunning for that, obviously, and there's so many elite programs around the country. It should be pretty interesting to see how they match up against some of the best. But I think the key question to ask is, in net, you're losing Joey Decord. What do you have there? You're telling me today that the goaltending in between the pipes look really good, and I think those guys are only going to develop as the season goes on. And one thing that they have to, I imagine, try not to do is replace Joey Decord. I don't think you can really replace a guy like that, but what you can do is just be yourself in net. And I imagine that's what those guys have been hearing. I know when we had Leanne Blinn on a couple weeks ago, she said Evan DeBrouwer was working so hard, even going into last season on road trips. He'd be working out on the road. He knows he's not going to get a start. He's still going to get his work in for that weekend. And that's a national championship mindset coming from a backup goaltender who's now competing for a spot for a starting goaltender position. So those are the attitudes and the mindsets that you like to have. And for Britson to go out on a limb and say that, I kind of like it just because, it's your captain leading by example. That's the standard. And everybody's kind of going to follow along with them, I imagine, in that locker room.
All right. Well, we'll be back with our first guest, but we have a little to do here before we got a birthday to celebrate here. So happy 22nd birthday, old man. It's great to have you on board. Our executive producer found you some cupcakes today and a couple of candles. So go ahead and do the honors and blow them out right in front of the camera.
Hopefully I don't mess this up on camera. So.
Oh, we got it.
Hopefully I didn't mess that up on camera, or it didn't look too bad. But,
All right, folks. The birthday boy's here. We got cupcakes to eat. We're at College Bar and Grill. We're going to be right back, and we're going to jump in with Mr. ASU ACHA Austin Palumbo. All right, welcome back in to Hockey Talk in the Desert Southwest. Andrew and I have been joined by a guest. You can tell where he's from. You just look at his color code here and the logos. Austin Palumbo, Mr. Everything for this year's ASU ACHA team. And I mean that both on and off the ice, because I know how well you play. I know your work ethic. Your senior year,
yes,
right?
Sir.
Also the president of the club team.
Yep.
You already talked to me about fundraising, so I know you're into that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Before we get into that, let's talk about this program. I've been hearing whispers from other coaches around the ACHA that ASU might be a surprise team this year.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. First off, I just want to say thank you for having me on. It's really great to be here. Second off, I mean, you're absolutely right. I heard you guys talking earlier about how Brinson says that, it's their goal to win a national championship, and that's our goal every year as well. Unfortunately, we've had a couple of rebuilding years, retooling years, trying to find pieces that work since we've had that big separation. But I really feel like we got a lot of fresh faces as well as some good season returners coming back this season, and I think we're going to make some big splashes.
Okay, so obviously every team, every coach wants to start from the goal out.
Yeah.
Your goaltending is stellar.
Yes.
Talk about your goaltender.
Oh, Braun is great. He's coming back again this year, and I'm really excited to have him. And not only is he a good guy on the ice, but one of the good guys off the ice too. He's a smart kid. He works hard. It's just great to have him in the room for sure.
And for you personally, I mean, going in this year, there's a lot of good opponents, around the ACHA. When you take a look at your schedule, just to start off the season, what kind of stands out to you about some of the opponents just around the area?
Oh, I mean, honestly, our first 4 games are against UNLV and U of A, which, those are 2 huge matchups for us. Obviously, you guys know the history with U of A, and that's always going to be a battle no matter what. We play them 8 times this season, and it'll be really exciting to go with them. And then UNLV has always given us good games. We've always gone, whether it's when they were selling out the arena back in the T-Mobile or the City National Arena, they were sorry. And, just going and playing them, it's always a good matchup. And then we go off to the road to Oklahoma's, and then from there on out, I mean, it's just a busy season. We got it a lot more balanced this year, which will be very nice for a lot of the kids, both with a school aspect and with the hockey aspect, so guys aren't feeling like they're traveling every weekend. They have that time where they can get caught up on their homework as well as, on hockey, so they can succeed both in and out of the classroom and on and off the ice.
Okay, so we know about the rivalry with U of A. That stands alone, right?
Yes, sir.
That's a battle.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a new one brewing now with Grand Canyon coming on as a D1 program. So what's your thoughts on Grand Canyon and the rivalry that's going to kick in there?
Yeah, their program has just, honestly, it's just grown so exponentially, and they're a solid team. They always play super hard. Danny Roy's done a wonderful job with that program, and it's really awesome to see, how fast that program's grown, and especially to jump to the D1 level.
Yeah. Okay, so we got Grand Canyon. We talked a little bit about U of A down south. UNLV has grown their program and aspirations of climbing another level. So talk a little bit about your rebuilding program with your team. You had Tate Green come in a couple of years ago and take over the program, moving up from the D2 level.
Yes, sir.
What did he bring?
Tate's brought so many different things to our program, honestly. He's given us that edge, and things are really good with him. He's a great guy to play for, both in the locker room and his drills, and we do really good things together. It's really exciting to see, and I love just being a part of this program as we've, blossomed into part of, while we are still part of the Arizona State family, we also have our own identity where we are our own team as well as the NCAA. And we're all one family, and we all have different strengths and weaknesses. And honestly, we have the same goal, so hopefully we can both achieve it.
And, going in the season, you mentioned early in the year, kind of getting a chance to stay at least around the area with UNLV and all that. You mentioned the younger guys. How much does that help, and how much do you kind of reinforce to them kind of what they have to go through just at the beginning of the year, and just making sure they're focused on classes and all the right things going into a school year?
Yeah, I mean, college, especially coming out of junior, it's so different for so many of these players, and to have them immediately come in and then have to deal with things like, buying their own groceries as opposed to the billet families, or, going to class and doing their homework and things like that. It's definitely a learning curve for some of them, and that's kind of on our job as the upperclassmen and the veterans of the team to kind of show them the way on how things need to be done, especially as a Sun Devil athlete.
Okay, so let's talk. We all know what Coach Powers did when he ran the program, right? Got the NCAA championship.
Yes, sir.
I know that he sneaks into your locker room every now and then and gives you a pep talk, especially if it's a big game against U of A. But how much influence does Coach Powers have on your program still?
Oh, he's great. Coach Powers has done so much for, ASU as a whole school, let alone the hockey program. I mean, he's basically the pioneer of this entire operation, and there's so many thanks we have to give to the guy, and he's just done such a tremendous job, and I honestly won't be surprised if Brinson's right on his prediction that they do win a national championship. I mean, they have the program, they have the talent, they have the coaching. I don't see any reason why not, and I think that's something that's going to happen.
So what do they need? What do you guys need to do? We know what they need to do to win a national championship.
Yeah.
But Coach Powers has told me over and over again that winning an ACHA championship at the D1 level is the hardest national championship to win in any sport. Talk about that. You've seen what those tournaments are like. You know what they're like.
Yeah,
What's it going to take for ASU to bring that title back here again?
It's something I would love to be a part of, and it's something that I really hope can happen this, for my senior season, and to go out on top would be absolutely phenomenal. I think that with coming to the ACHA, it's a little bit different as opposed to other things where, yes, there are talented players, but at the whole, it's a team game. And you can have, X, Y, Z, you can have your superstars, but at the end of the day, it's the team that have 30 guys that are all bought in, that would all be willing to go to war for each other, and those are the guys that you're going to typically see having success. The teams we've seen with the most success over the last couple of years are the ones where everyone is bought into the same system and they all believe in each other.
Yeah, and you mentioned kind of that will over skill mindset. Going throughout an ACHA weekend, I know it's different from the normal college hockey, just Friday, Saturday. Sometimes you're playing at some different times and stuff like that. For you and for the team, what's it like preparing just for an ACHA weekend, or maybe you're playing at some interesting ice times, or just preparing the body in that sense?
Yeah, I mean it's definitely a little different. 3-game weekends are pretty long and they're pretty grueling. You got to take some ice baths, you got to keep your legs elevated, amino acids, all that kind of stuff. Do whatever you can to keep yourself fresh. And one thing too that we stress to a lot of the freshmen is just get your stuff done early. If you have a paper that's due Friday night, stay up Monday night, sleep Tuesday, and then you'll be good to go for the weekend, something like that. It's definitely a grind, but it's absolutely doable and manageable.
Well, for people that don't know much about ACHA hockey, I don't know who that would be that watches our program, because we pump it up an awful lot. But there's some things that go on in ACHA hockey, right? It's very physical. The style of play to win the tournament is usually that style. I mean, what Minot State did to win this year, you guys have faced them.
Yeah.
U of A is building up that way. UNLV is building up that way. I know Danny Roy at Grand Canyon is. Your philosophy and what you guys plan on doing this year to get over that hump?
A lot of things. First off, it's ACHA hockey is college hockey, and that's something that I don't think worldwide people recognize enough, is that we are college hockey players.
I found this on the web.
We are college hockey players. It's a different schedule, but it's still a hard schedule. We are student athletes. While we might not receive the same kind of things, we still are. And, you know, it is a grindier league. Like you said, you got to be more nails, more sandpaper to play, and that's all right. It's something that a lot of guys can handle pretty well, and it's honestly exciting. I'd say what we got to do is just stick to the grindstone, keep doing our systems, keep playing for each other, and, you know, be willing to make the sacrifices for the important parts. Little things make big things happen.
I know every, you know, ACHA team, whether NC2A, ACHA, every really good hockey team, they have kind of a core, staple kind of mentality that you bring to the table. What would you say is your team's kind of the building block of the team and kind of your mentality just going into this season?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of things are like accountability is something we stress very much in our locker room. You have to be accountable for your actions. If you say you're going to do something, you need to do that thing. Holding yourselves and others to a higher standard is another thing that we're really good. And then also being the tradition, you know. That's something that both the NCAA team touches on and we do as well, where, you know, we have the fortunate opportunity that we're so blessed we can actually build our own tradition. And while they're building theirs, we're building ours as well, and we're continuing what they have built. And it's something that, you know, is really awesome to be a part of.
Well, what's it like? I know Coach Powers has such a rich history here with the ACHA team and kind of now into the NCAA level. What's it like just being a part of the ACHA history of ASU and kind of, you know, club hockey is something that ASU it's not really looked at as a club sport. Like you said, it is college hockey. And so in that sense, you know, what's it like to be a part of that tradition?
Honestly, it's a blessing. It's been so awesome, you know, to come in as a freshman and play with some of the guys who were there for that national championship winning team, you know, Ostertag and Cummings and Phelps and all of them, and then to kind of have that transition to where it's on guys like me and Kowalchuk, and it's really awesome to be a part of, and I'm truly blessed for all the experiences I've had.
All right, let's take a quick break. Let's come back and let's talk your other side, the other side of your hat, if you will. If you have to turn it around on us or whatever, we'll come back and talk about the real grind, right, which is the fundraising, president of the club, doing all the things you have to do, and we'll talk about how people can get involved to help you guys out.
Absolutely.
We'll be right back. All right, welcome back in, hockey fans in the desert Southwest. As I look off to my left, I see some clouds building. We may have a shot of another monsoon storm. What do you think, guys?
That'd be outstanding. Cool it down.
Last night was just the first one, I imagine, so there'll be many more to come throughout August. September.
What I say with monsoon storms is that's the start of the hockey season, right? Because you got to have moisture to start making ice.
Exactly.
Right? And what's it like going into Oceanside if there's not a little fog and steam on the glass, right?
Yeah, the buoys in the corner, you got to dangle around.
From the outside, you got to, you know, dust off a little bit of the boards. We'll see.
It was starting to form today. I saw that. There was a little bit on the ice, on the glass today, players bench side, but all right, we got Austin Colombo back. So I told him we're gonna have to flip his hat around maybe or something, because now he's got a second hat, and you're not only a student athlete, you're an excellent hockey player, you're a competitive hockey player.
Thank you.
Now you're the president of the club itself.
Yes, sir.
Which leads to helping to fundraise. Tell us a little bit about what your role is and what that means to the program.
Yeah, so as the president, it's not just me as well. I have a lot of help with Zach Kowalchuk as well, and it's something that he and I have been working on since we were juniors last year and throughout this season as well. And you know, it's really awesome to get to work with him. And being the president, we're basically kind of the liaison through the school to the team and all of that. And you know, we're on the board of the directors for ASU Hockey, for our club team, of course, and all of that. And it's really awesome to be a part of. And, you know, I have to go sit for the school meetings and all of that and talk to the higher-ups from the school, as well as then relay all that information back. And
okay, so I know that your assistant coach, Chad Bailey, did a lot of that legwork for you guys last year and the year before. And I'm just wondering, it's on the lighter side of it, we have a tattoo coming on here like Chad did. You guys fired up? No, not happening?
No, I'm sorry, no.
Just thought I'd check that out right off the get-go, but...
No, maybe one day, but probably not today. I'm sorry about that one.
Seriously, let's go back to that point.
Yeah.
What were you thinking when you guys were down at U of A and he unveiled that?
You know what? That was awesome. The boys were absolutely going for that one. It caught everyone off guard because he didn't just like roll up his sleeve. He took his whole shirt off, and we were just like, what's he doing? And then we just saw Sparky, and we're like, yeah! And it was really awesome to see. I'm glad I was there for that, for sure. But,
all right, so let's talk the serious part of this. We all know this is a pay-for-play type situation, right?
Yes, sir.
Nothing comes for free.
Unfortunately, no.
So in order to fund your program, which involves travel, purchasing ice time, equipment, all of those types of things, what do you have to do? What do you need from the general public? What can supporters do to help you?
Yeah, so we fortunately have a ton of different fundraising opportunities, whether that wants to be a banner that hangs during our home games, buying dasher boards along the glass, whether it's radio, like our media when we upload our games on YouTube, being a partner, our water bottles, everything, what we use in the locker room, where guys go for food, all of that. You know, I'm actually looking for trying to do a third jersey, which would be really cool. That way the boys, you know, it is pay to play and we have to recycle a lot of our jerseys and equipment. And it'd be really cool to get some of the guys at least a jersey of their own that they can kind of keep so they can remember their time as a Sun Devil and have that, even if it's like an alternate or a third. And you know, the fundraising, it is pay to play, which is really unfortunate. I mean, I wish we didn't have to, but so everything, like you said, everything in life has a price, and obviously it's worth it. So the fundraising is really to kind of help guys both bring costs down for the team so we can retain the players we already have, as well as recruit new guys as well to come into the program where, you know, ASU is a wonderful school for you to go to, both from a life aspect, from a scholar aspect, from a sports aspect, but to make that a lot more affordable for players is something that would be really wonderful to do as well.
And for you personally, I mean, it's a lot of responsibility to hold as a senior going into college this year. But beyond that, how do you think that's going to help you just once you get outside of hockey and kind of out of just being away from the rink and having that ability to kind of do a sales pitch and deal with all these different monies and symbols, all that thing?
Yeah, you know, hopefully that can really transfer me into a really good career. And, you know, I am trying to plan on going to law school after I graduate this May. So, you know, hopefully I can do something along those lines and incorporate that, and being the president and all of that into my future would be really awesome. I'd love to stay connected in the game with hockey after this season. And, you know, it's been my passion in my life for, 20 years now. So I might as well just keep doing it and stick with what I'm good at for sure.
All right, so let's talk a little bit more specific. When I had Lindsay Ellis on talking about the women's program, one of the things that I commended her on is she's found a lot of theme nights, right? They have military night, they have breast cancer awareness night, they have this night, that night. They don't have many home games, so they tried to do something like that.
Yeah.
But as a sponsor for your program, your board is up when the NCAA team is playing as well. So you're getting a kind of not even a double bang, it's a multiple bang. It stays up in the arena year round, correct?
Yes, sir. So if you do one of the Dasher Board sponsorships, you know, you can then have that up for the whole season, both with the NCAA games, with us, with the Pee Wee practices at 5 o'clock on a Thursday, things like that. And they're really awesome.
You know, every time I go to the rink and I take some photos, I always see the ACHA logo in the background. So your Dasher board is specifically set up in a nice spot.
Yeah, it's
I see
very
it all
nice.
the time.
Yeah.
But there's all kinds of good spots because people are taking photos and video all over. So it's not just helping you out here, but it's really helping out a business as well, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's great publicity both for your business and for Goodwill as well. You know, you get to be a sponsor and you get to help out these college athletes, and we are a 501c3 on top of that, so we are able to give you a little bit of a tax break as well, which is really, really awesome that we're able to do. And it not only looks good for your business from a publicity side, but also you're really helping kids. You're helping college athletes, and you know, you're either about to go into college in it, or you've been in college. You know how it is. You know that, you know, it's a grind both before and after. So it's really awesome to be a part of.
All right, so when we talk about your schedule, you spend your summer, you work, right?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
And you work on your fundraising. You try to work on your skating skills and work on that.
Yep.
When does it transition for you into more of an all hockey type?
Yeah.
Or do you just have to do a little of everything and juggle and schedule?
Yeah, you just got to keep the balls in the air and juggle them as much as you can and hope that none fall. And if one starts to go low, you got to bring it back up and maybe let something else go for a little. I mean, I'm a bartender, so I've been working a lot over summer. I've been putting 30, 40-hour weeks in, and it's been a grind, but I'll probably cut back a ton once school fires up and all this kind of stuff. So.
And how refreshing is it for you, you know, working these 30, 40-hour weeks, and you actually just get on the weekend instead of, you know, working these long night shifts, you get a chance to go play hockey at 7, 8 o'clock at night instead?
Oh, man, that's Sunday nights, you know, playing at beer league is always nice to have that relaxing and you can sleep in. And, you know, unfortunately, working in a bar, my Friday, Saturdays are Mondays and Tuesdays. You know, this is my Sunday right now, so I'll be back to work tomorrow. But it's awesome, and a lot of the skates other than beer league, you know, 6 a.m.s, 8 a.m.s, just finding ice wherever you can. It's really, really difficult as a college hockey player and a junior hockey player to find ice and time where you can kind of work on your own things. But when you have it, you got to make the most of it for sure.
All right, so we're going to throw a couple things out to wrap up this segment. I'll put you on the spot.
Alrighty.
First and foremost, give me your most memorable moment as a Sun Devil hockey player.
Oh, man.
You have one? Something that jumps out at you. Told you I'd put you on the spot.
I know, you did.
These are the hot seat questions.
These are the hot seat questions. Wow.
I've been there before.
I would say one of my best memories is probably going to the national championship my freshman year and just being a part of that team and with those guys and seeing basically what college hockey was like is just an extremely awesome experience. I'm glad I got to have.
Okay, so without being too negative, tell me what was the most difficult, most trying time in your 4 years here so far?
I think the most difficult time is when that transition kind of went from all of these guys where there were upperclassmen, there were guys older than me, there were guys more experienced than me, to basically waking up one day and it was me and Kowal and a couple of the other 96s, and it's like, okay, this is on us. We got to do it now. Let's go. There's no other way to go. So.
You know you're talking hockey, Andrew, when he comes up with the other 96s, right?
Yeah.
Nobody else says that about their sport. We're a 96 or 97 or 95. Tell us what that means.
So, yeah, it's based off of birth year. I was born in 1996, so growing up, they'd always refer to you. You would play, 1 year and 2 years at Bantam. So if you were a Bantam back in, I don't know, the Middle Ages when I was a Bantam, I played Bantams with 96s, 95s, and 97s, and it just alternated years, and that's kind of how you go by age. You don't say, oh, I'm 22. You say, oh, I'm a 96.
Yeah, it definitely separates itself compared to other sports, or maybe, you got basketball, baseball, hockey's one of a kind in that sense.
It really is.
Yeah. So now I'm going to say that I probably should have gotten, a 95 for you on your birthday cake instead of 22?
Actually, I'm in the 97.
You're
so
97.
Yeah, that's why he was saying when he's complaining about being 22, like I'm almost 23.
All right.
We got gold.
We're all getting up there now.
Yeah, man.
Austin Palumbo, thanks for stepping in. Thanks for talking to the Lake CHA Hockey. And good luck on the season. Good luck on the fundraising. I hope everybody gets out there and supports Sun Devil hockey at all levels.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. It's truly an honor. I'd love to come back anytime you guys need me. And thank you again.
Well, we'll keep your phone number on speed dial.
Yeah.
We might need you soon. We're doing 50 of these shows, and we've only done, this is number 7, so we got a ways to go. We're going to bring in our next guest, who knows a lot about the birth years because he's with USA Hockey. So hang tight just for a minute, folks, and we'll be ready with Larry Gibson.
Hey, Michael here from M-Drive. My dad, a world-class scientist, actually made M-Drive for himself to stay active and continue enjoying life. And yes, M-Drive supports healthy testosterone, but it's so much more. M-Drive is the everyday supplement to fuel your drive with more energy and more strength. Listen, we'd love for you to try M-Drive too. Visit mdriveformen.com and we'll give you 20% off your first purchase. Just type in the code DRIVE at checkout. Refine your prime with M-Drive.
All right, welcome back in, hockey fans in the Desert Southwest. We're still here. No monsoon rains yet. We're at College Bar and Grill in Tempe, Arizona. Our home away from home when we talk hockey here in the Desert Southwest. So Larry Gibson, it might be 108, 110 outside, but it's high school hockey talk tonight, isn't it?
It is. It's glad to be here, too. I'm really happy to be here. Thanks, Scott.
You know what? I put you on the spot late last night, and you always jump. Every time I give you something, you jump in and help me out, and I certainly appreciate that because we love having you on. We love talking goaltending. I'm not even going to try to say what your title is with USA Hockey, so you go ahead and tell us what you do.
That's quite right, Scott. Yeah, I'm the goaltending development coordinator for the state of Arizona and a little bit with the Rocky Mountain District as well. Steve Thompson's moved into the position of the Rocky Mountain District coordinator himself. He's also the national development guy of the ADM, of the goaltending ADM. He came in from the Pacific District, but now he's taking care of the duties at the national offices too. So super lucky to have him. He's a great guy. He's super knowledgeable, and he's our leader for now as far as the 51 and 30 campaign goes.
All right, you've been around this game an awful long time. Goaltending guru, I call you, because when there's ever anything we need to know about goaltending, technically, officiating wise, you pretty much know the rules, the ins and outs. I mean, you're my guy if I need that. So talk a little about goaltending and how it's changed, what you've seen in changes, not just the pads, but the growth of the players, the positioning, all of that stuff.
Yeah. Well, basically, what we're trying to do, the 51 and 30, if I can remind everybody about that, is 51% of the minutes played in the National Hockey League or the Women's National Hockey League are to be played by American-born kids by the year 2030. So that's the culture that we're trying to create. It's we want to be world leading, not just world class, and that means doing the work at the grassroots level. The ADM is 10 years old now, and Jack Hughes is a product of that.
Right.
So we're trying to create the culture where the goalies aren't afterthoughts. I may have discussed this in my last time with you, but the goalies it's an important position. They're hockey players. They're kids, they're hockey players, and they deserve the same type of instruction that the other kids are getting. And sometimes that lacks, and we want to address that, and we want to make sure that those kids are getting quality instructions from their coaches. The coaches will say they don't know that much about it,
right.
And that'll get me into my discussion with the bronze level that we just had at Oceanside. So we're out there, we're trying to impress upon coaches. They need to learn how to coach their goalies in order to make them better and more efficient goaltenders. Having fun, of course, creating new goalies. That's a big thing too.
Right.
The quick change paths that we do, you can make a hockey player, a kid, into a goalie in a matter of 2 or 3 minutes. And
Right.
they're able to try the position, decide if they like it or not. And if they don't want to do it, there's advantages to that too. They're going to understand they're not going to be as hard on their goalie as they might be having played the position now and everything. So it's a culture of goalies are important. They're very important. It's an important part of the game. They need the attention to get that.
Well, Andrew and I met about 4 years ago or so over at ASU, and your daughter was in the middle of our conversation.
Oh dear.
Explain a little bit about what your daughter does at ASU, and Andrew will jump in on his thoughts on who we call Gibber.
Yeah, Gibber Marino now. Yeah, she's married, and they have about a 5-month-old kid right now. They're not decided if there's going to be a goalie or not, or a defenseman. Her husband, Mike Marino, is a defenseman, and they asked the doctors, but they said it's too early to tell whether it's going to be a goalie. So, yeah.
So no ultrasounds of goalie pads or anything like that?
Not yet, but
Catcher,
technology's really there. Let's see. So she's a goalie coach now for ASU, the women's program. She works with Lindsay Ellis, and she sort of came on as the goalie coach now. But with Lindsay Ellis, she's taken on a greater role as an assistant, and she really enjoys it. She loves it. They just had their prospect camp this weekend.
Yeah.
So, Lindsay's done a great job of attracting girls to the rink and to the program, and their program's growing leaps and bounds. It's really exciting to see that.
Yeah, and so to add my point in that conversation, so your daughter, actually I was just down the street here at the State Press, which is a school newspaper. My first reporting job at the State Press was covering the ASU women's hockey team, so I actually got a chance to interact with Coach Marino, as I used to call her. But yeah, I have to commend you because she was so great with the goaltenders there, and I know so good at developing them with Jordan Nash Bolden, who they have down there now, who's going into her senior year. But yeah, she was always a great interview whenever I had an interview at State Press or something like that, and just super great, just talking technically about the position and about the game. But yeah, that was kind of my connection down the street, and so they're establishing something great down there as well. Especially mentioned the prospect camp, they've grown so much. When I was out there covering, Scott can attest too, but there's about 13 skaters out there, so it made things tough. One goaltender too, so a lot of heavy lugging, but they've grown a lot in the last couple of years.
The first thing I'm going to say is you can tell that Andrew is Walter Cronkite School. He says Coach Marino, right?
Yeah,
when I'm introduced to her, it feels like it's Gibber, right?
It's Gibber, yeah.
All right, so let's get specific on some goaltending. We'll come back and talk a little bit more about it as I knock things over here at the College Bar and Grill. But talk about some of the goaltending things that you've seen change over the years. And we talked about the numbers growing now. I'm starting to see some goaltending coaches as part of a youth program.
Oh yeah.
Which is nice. They get a chance to give them maybe 1 day or 2 days or some overall.
Yep. That's crucial in their development.
Tell us a little bit about what's changed. What's made that change?
There was never, curiously enough, there was never a full-time NHL goalie coaches until Warren Strelo, in fact, was the first one in 1980 for the American Olympic team, and that's a pretty big year. They had a pretty big year with that. So.
They did okay.
But curiously enough, there were not goalie coaches in the NHL until I think around maybe about 10 or 15 years ago. I'm not sure about that. I got to check, but every team has a goalie coach now in the NHL.
Yeah.
And countries like Finland, they're cranking out these really good young goalies, and it's not an accident. They have dedicated full-time goalie coaches on the ice for every single practice, at every single game, So that's the advantage that they have there, and then that's what we need to do. That's the change that's happening now. Is these goalies are getting the coaching that they need. So that's kind of the history of that. And now every team has a goalie coach, and that leads to success. And Finland certainly shows that. The more attention goalies get, the better they get.
Okay, so when I used to see goaltenders, a couple things were a stigma back in the day, and I'm dating myself now. Used to be the kid that couldn't skate, you put him in net, right? And the kid was probably pretty small, went in net, and he was quick, he'd get up and down. We still see guys like Marc-Andre Fleury, not the biggest in the world, but now all of a sudden there's a change towards big 6'4", 6'5", and bigger goaltenders. Did you notice that, and was there a move towards that?
In fact, I did. Yeah, there's some huge goalies in the NHL. Ben Bishop's a pretty big guy, but there's smaller guys too. Like Jonathan Quick.
Right.
Not a super big goalie. I think that there was a trend for that. Smaller goalies also there's challenges with smaller goalies. They've got to be fast. They've got to skate well, and and that. So, but I don't think it's a trend as much as it's going to continue, because I think we're trusting smaller goalies and their skills, and I don't think it's going to go away. I think there's still going to be chances for the smaller goalies in the NHL to come up, and I can't name any right now, but yeah, it's not going to be, if you're small, don't worry about that. You're going to get your chance, and you're going to get your chance to make the NHL.
Okay, so when I look at some of the bigger goaltenders, obviously you look at them and you go like, okay, today, for example, I'm watching an NCAA practice over at ASU, and one of the kids they brought over as a graduate transfer was Prodzic from Boston University.
Yeah.
He's a large individual.
Yeah.
Coach Powers told me right at the get-go, what do you like about him? He said, I like the fact that he covers the whole net.
Yeah.
You can't see much to shoot at.
Yep. The net's 6'4", 6x4, and you can't coach size. You know that the bigger kids are going to fill that net up better. There's going to be some mobility challenges, but again, size is a terrific thing for a goaltender to have that with that mobility. It doesn't disclude the young guys, but yeah, the larger goalies are going to have that ability to cover that depth in the net.
And for the goaltender position, I mean, I know in the last 10 to 15 years, we talk about the different styles of goaltenders all the time, but have you seen the position change at all, just in regards to, how the position is being played, and we talk about some of the bigger guys, but just the position itself and how it's kind of evolved?
Well, yeah, it has certainly come a long way. Talk about dating ourselves, Scott. I mean, these kids don't even know what a skate save or a two-pad stack is. So, as a goalie guy, like you call me, and I'm thankful for that. It's just the game's changed so much. Techniques have changed so much. There was a time where I felt like the position of goaltending, they start taking the stick out of their hands, essentially with places they can handle the puck and not handle the puck, making the gear smaller and such like that. I really felt like if they're having to get at the goalie position like that and make those changes, the position's pretty much perfected at that time. Now shooters are smart. They're going to goalie camps over the summer. Shooters are getting smarter. They're learning what's going on, what's trending with goalies, RVH stuff, post-load things, but they're able to expose those. So it's like we're always trying to stay ahead of the shooters. The shooters are trying to stay ahead of the goalies.
Yeah.
So that's the deal there. So things will change. The Jonathan Quick post-load stuff that's getting exposed or has been in recent years in the playoffs. You've seen that those upper corners are getting picked pretty hard. So, but yeah, a lot of changes. Stick handling is a big thing. It's something that we try to get the coaches at the youth level to allow the kids to do. It's so important. But goalies can be so effective in their end, helping pucks get out of the zone, helping keeping their defensemen out of the corners and getting that physical contact. And of course, the lessened zone time. So goalies are handling the puck more. Pretty much.
Let's take a quick break. We'll come back and we'll talk a little bit more specifically about that, because we had a chance, both Andrew and I did, to watch Joey Daccord, who is maybe one of the best, if not the best, stick handler for a goaltender in college hockey last year. We'll talk a little bit about that, and then I want to pick your brain a little bit on some of the growth of USA Hockey from the Arizona base. We're talking Austin Matthews, David Heimovich just at a big camp. We're sending Demetrius Komentzis this week over to World Junior tryouts. We'll come right back to Larry Gibson. We'll pick his brain some more about not only goaltending, but USA Hockey, the basis of hockey here in the United States.
Pre-game like a pro, post-game like a champion at College Bar and Grill. Located across the street from the iconic A Mountain and Sun Devil Stadium and a quick walk from Wells Fargo Arena, College Bar and Grill is your home for the best local craft beer, delicious creative cocktails, tasty food, and Tempe's best atmosphere for Arizona State athletics. College Bar and Grill. Pre-game like a pro, post-game like a champion. Online at ilovecollege.co.
All right, welcome back in, hockey fans in the Desert Southwest. As you all know, the segment on Tuesday night ended a little prematurely. We weren't able to finish our conversation with Larry Gibson of USA Hockey and the goaltending guru, I like to call him, for the Arizona region and the Rocky Mountain District. But we had a little medical emergency. I want to say right now, first and foremost, that our executive producer, my wife Terry, is feeling much better than she was Tuesday night. It happened on us suddenly. None of us were prepared for it. I want to shout out to a bunch of people that made things a lot easier for us, and this is kind of the conclusion to the show. So first of all, let me thank the guys that were there for us. Austin Palumbo with Arizona State University ACHA Hockey. Great job, great talking about his program and how proud he is as a player, president of the club, and a major fundraiser. I also want to give a shout out to Andrew Bell, our co-host, our guest co-host, who set a record, his third straight time on with us. It's always great to have Andrew sitting with us because he's got a great knowledge of hockey, especially Arizona State hockey, being a former student now. So thanks, Andrew, for jumping in, especially on your birthday. Happy belated birthday again from all of us. I also want to thank Larry Gibson, as I mentioned, the goaltending guru with USA Hockey. He's done an awful lot for hockey all over the United States, but specifically here in the West and definitely in Arizona. So, Larry, I promise we're going to do a little more for you. We owe you one more segment at least, and we'll make it up to you. The folks over at College Bar and Grill, Nick and the guys, jumped into action when we needed help, and I can't thank you guys enough for everything that you did. Quick response. I also want to thank Tempe Fire and Ambulance for getting on the scene about as quick as humanly possible and jumping into action and bringing Terry around again after she basically went unconscious on us, and they had to do some quick work to get her blood pressure stabilized and get her transported. And the ER doctors and nurses over at Tempe St. Luke's, can't thank you guys enough either. It was just a matter of minutes from the time that we arrived until they had you in and diagnosed, and we're already starting a recovery plan. So while it seemed like hours to me, and I'm sure to Terry, it seemed like, if she remembers any of it, it seemed like hours to her as well. But in all reality, it was all very fast. And I'm happy to say, like I said, no long-term things on it. For those of you out there and our athletes or just people anywhere, a low potassium is very dangerous. You must make sure that you have your potassium levels up. You can be hydrated through water and other liquids, but the electrolytes and the things to keep your potassium level up are vitally important, as we found out firsthand. So I want to thank everybody once again. If I missed you, I also want to thank everybody that sent me messages and every form of media out there. And you all know who you are, and I've thanked you all many times over, and will continue to do so because you're what makes us happen, right? We do this for you guys, but it means nothing if you're not out there following us, watching us, sticking along with us. So next week we're going to hope to be in a different location, just because I want to focus on something different next week. So I'll let you know. Stay tuned to our website, our social media channels, IcetimeHockeySW.com, IcetimeSW on YouTube, and stick with us all season long. It's going to be a great year. We know it. We got through a little scare. We're all happy for Terry that she's feeling better and is ready to go again here shortly. And well, the pain and the bruises are only temporary. This job that we do is really more of a labor of love, as many of you know. So thanks again, hockey fans in the Desert Southwest. Till next week, I'm Scott Strandy saying come back to Hockey Talk in the Desert Southwest. Another great episode. We have one every Tuesday, 6 p.m. on location somewhere and live on Facebook as well.